Hello there, folks. 10 worst decisions I ever seen in a boxing ring. The first one was Roy Jones, the Olympic final in 1988 in Seoul. Uh, he was boxing a local lad, Park Si Hun, and Roy Jones beat him from pillar to post. Even his opponent admitted that he lost the fight. And yeah, that would be my number one. It was an outrage around the world. Uh, Number two would be our own Barry McGuigan. This Commonwealth Games final 1978. These are only my opinion, by the way. Against Tumat Sukolik from Papua New Guinea. McGuigan was down the second, and then he got badly hurt with an uppercut. He got a standing count, and then he got a public warning. He was well beat, and he was only 17, McGuigan, and it was a marvellous performance to get to the final. And but he lost that fight. Definitely lost that fight. And the guy from Papua New Guinea was one of the most sporting losers I ever seen. Number three would be Jose Luis Ramirez against Pernell Whitaker. I think that was Paris, France. Disgraceful and distasteful decision. They robbed Whitaker blind. Whitaker won a rematch, but Whitaker well won that fight. Just a bad decision. It was corrupt. Number four, Manny Pacquiao against Timothy Bradley. The first fight, Pacquiao well won that fight. It was a bad decision, a horrible decision, ugly decision. But Pacquiao won the next two of the three-fight trilogy. Number five would be Pernell Whitaker again. I think Pernell Whitaker's the only fighter that can mention twice. His fight with Julio Cesar Chavez, which was called a draw. Whitaker well won that fight. Chavez was unbeaten in 80 fights, and it was for the welterweight title. And I think Whitaker held on to his welterweight crown, but he won that fight, and they robbed him of the decision. Number six, Jeff Fennick, Azuma Nelson, the first fight. It was in the undercard of one of Mike Tyson's fights. This was the American public's first time to get to see Jeff Fennick. Jeff Fennick was already a three-weight world champion, knew all about him, had been following him through the boxing news. And I always had a couple of collectors, video collectors in England, and I would always send off for fights. And I knew most of these guys coming up, Kostya, and I knew they were great fighters, so I would send off for videos of them and lend them to my friends. So that was a bad decision. Jeff Fennick well won that fight, and that was his first showing in America. And they had the rematch in Australia, and Azuma Nelson knocked him out in 8 rounds. Azuma Nelson said he had malaria in the first fight. So there you are. Number seven, Juan Miguel Marquez against Manny Pacquiao. Marquez was robbed blind. This was the third fight of a 4-fight series. Marquez was robbed blind, no doubt about it. The first fight was a draw. The second fight was a close split decision win for Pacquiao, and this third fight was that outrageous. I don't want to use the word corrupt, but they had to have a 4th fight, and in the 4th fight, Marquez knocked Pacquiao cold with 1 second remaining in the 6th round. Number 8, Lennox Lewis against Evander Holyfield, the first fight, which was called a draw. Lennox Lewis won that fight. The second fight was closer, but Lewis won that too, and rightly got the decision, but it was close. But the first fight was wider. The first fight, Lewis should have got it. Number 9, Chris Eubank and Aaron Ray Close. Once it was called a draw. This was in Scotland. Ray Close well beat Chris Eubank. But the thing was, the Eubank-Ben rematch had just been signed, and they took this as like a warm-up fight. They underrated Ray Close, who was a European champion who had won the European crown abroad, and Ray Close should have won that fight. They had a rematch. I was at the rematch in the King's Hall, and it was a split decision win for Eubank, but it was a very, very close, tight fight. hard to call, but not this first one. This first one, Ray Close was robbed. Should have been world champion. Number 10, our own Eamon McAuley against Simone Maladrova from Italy. And this was in Kelly's home patch. This was in his own West Belfast, in his own backyard, Andytown Leisure Centre. And Kelly walked the venue. And even though it was a unanimous decision for the Italian, in my eyes, maybe patriotism, I don't know, I thought Kelly well won that fight. Well won that fight and was robbed. But they had a rematch 7 months later, and it was in Italy, and Maladrova knocked Kelly out in the second round. So there you are. But irrespective of that, Kelly won that fight. So that's the 10 worst decisions I can think of. I probably think of loads more, but listen, I do this very quickly. I get stuff in my head and I write it down very quickly and just go and do it. I'm very impulsive. If I waited a wee bit longer, it would be better. But 5 Sugar Rays who became champions: Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Seals, Olympic gold medalist, Sugar Ramos, and Sugar Shane Mosley. 5 Rockies: Rocky Marciano, Rocky Graziano, Rocky Lockridge, Rocky Mattioli, the Italian who lost his title to Morris Hope, and of course Rocky Balboa. Believe it or not, Roberto Duran was called Rocky early in his career. In the early 70s, you'll see the robes on and t-shirts on with Rocky Duran. And in actual fact, Roberto Duran was in Rocky 2. He's sparring Sylvester Stallone. So there you are. 5 world champions that were vegetarian or vegan: Freddie Welch, Heather Joffrey, Livingstone Bramble, Timothy Bradley, David Hay, and Mike Tyson were vegan, but they ain't now. I've been vegan about 5 years now, and I went vegetarian in 1988. That's what ruined my boxing career. So I haven't had red meat, chicken or fish or any animal derivatives since 1988. And I haven't had any dairy since 2018, 2019. The 10 best nicknames for boxers. The Onion Farmer was Carmen Basilio, middleweight champion. I love this one. Chris Bacon, who was a British cruiserweight champion, his middle name was Paul or Patrick, so they called him Crispy Bacon. Brilliant. Crispy Bacon. Brilliant. Our own the Pink Panther from Dublin, Jim Rock. He used to come in with the pink shorts and he'd come into the Pink Panther theme music. Baby Jake, that was the South African black boxer Jack McLalla. He was under 5 foot, so they called him Baby Jake. Ollie Harrison, the Olympic heavyweight gold medalist, who there was so much expectation, but he didn't live up to it, so they called him Fraudley Harrison. Celeb Plant was called Pillow Hands. He's currently boxing. Dr. Steelhammer was Vladimir Klitschko. Dr. Iron Fist was Vitaly Klitschko. James Lights Out Tony. Ask Michael none about that. And the 10th and last one is myself. When I went to Manchester in 1982, I run up a string of knockout wins, and the editor of the Manchester Evening News, Ed Barry, started calling me the Belfast Bomber. But IRA bombs were going off all over England, causing death and destruction. And bombs have went off in the Arndale Centre in Manchester, killing and maiming many in 1983. So me and my Uncle Jared had to go down to the Manchester Evening News to seek out this guy Ed Barry, and I told him, would he desist from calling me the Belfast Bomber, that I've came over here from Belfast to get away from all that. But unbelievable, to call me the Belfast Bomber. I mean, where was his brains? That's me, folks. Thanks very much for listening. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll speak to you soon.